Reading is Fun Week opens this week, and we're going to begin under the theme, The Literacy Network, Reading, Writing, and Speaking. And I want to bring on the Star Chasers Book Club item.
This week, we'll be celebrating our Reading is Fun Week. And I am here this morning to remind you that you are to read, read, read. What did I say? I didn't hear you. I didn't hear you. Very good. I am here to remind you that you are to read, read, read. But I have a problem, because sitting in front of me are several students who have not been reading. And you have been giving me a number of different reasons. Can you recall any of those reasons why you have not been reading? Okay, you're telling me that reading is boring. And you don't have the time. Is that what you're telling me? And some of you are also saying that reading is too hard. Is that true? Is there anybody here who thinks that reading is not important? A few hands? Okay. I'm sure that by the end of this presentation, and certainly by the end of the week, you will realize that reading is indeed important. Actually, reading is fun. Some experts in the field of reading have proven that the more children read, the better they will be able to read, and the more pleasure they actually get from reading. These experts have also proven that children who read very little, listen, these experts have also proven that children who read very little usually have poor reading skills. Anybody here has poor reading skills? Okay, all right, keep it on, keep it on. They're saying that reading is a struggle for them, and so these children avoid reading whenever possible. With that said, we want you to know that the more you read, the better you'll be able to read. In other words, the more you read for yourselves, the less difficult it will be for you to do your varying reading tasks here at school and in the wider society. You might be asking these questions. What can I get from reading? One, and you're going to help me count, but I also need for you to remember and think about everything that is said here today. When you read, you become an expert at anything you want to do. From becoming a sports star, a lawyer, a doctor, you name it. You know the varying things that you might want to do. Anything you would like to be when you grow up, you can become an expert at it through reading. You can escape. Many of you would want to be able to escape from noise, tension, or boredom. The way to do that is through reading. Become entertained. I know a number of you here likes entertainment. Anybody here likes entertainment? Okay, I see the hands going up. Yes, you can have a few laughs from just reading. Many teens will enjoy sitting down with a book by their favorite stand-up comedian, a collection of jokes, a cartoon, or humor magazine. You can see the world. Anybody here would like to see the world? I would like to see the world. Anybody else? Yes, you can see the world. You can visit places that fascinate you without actually traveling. Imagine that. You can experience the past and the future. Yes, you can travel through time through reading historical fiction and science fiction, and these books will help you move back and forth in time. You get to use your brains more. Anybody here wants to use your brains? Of course, that's why you're here at school, right? To use your brains, to think, to be able to reason, to analyze critically and analytically. Those of you who enjoy solving mysteries, outwitting a crafty villain, or thinking through a perilous situation, here is your great opportunity to use your brains. You get some free advice. There are many novels that feature teens characters who have problems and pressures similar to those you are dealing with. And when you read, you do not only share in their experiences, but you also learn how to cope with your own problems as well. You can also discover new interests. Through reading, you may develop an interest in something you knew nothing about before. You can also discover new information. You can get smart on an issue that matters to you. So, you might ask another question. How can I become interested in reading? Here are a few tips. Listen, everyone, because I know that a number of you here this morning are not interested in reading, and our aim is to get you interested in reading. So here are a few tips to help you get interested in reading. Ask around. Ask friends. You might have a favorite teacher, your coach, to suggest books they enjoyed. Check out the library. Did you know that there's a library in town? Yes, and we have our own library here. It won't cost you anything, and the choices are virtually unlimited. Don't be shy about asking a librarian a question like, do you have any books on rock music? If you like rock music. Browse in a bookstore. Find the section that interests you, such as fantasy, cars, computers, whatever. Treat yourself to an inexpensive paperback, or just have a look around at the books. Consult a list of books other teenagers have enjoyed. Ask for a book list at your school or public library. Don't judge a book by its cover. I know that sometimes you look at a book and the cover might turn you off. But we're here saying to you this morning, don't judge a book by its cover. Try a few pages. Read at your own pace. Let one good thing lead to another. I have a number of books in my classroom, E3, and I'm inviting you to come along and join the book club. I know that a number of you love the Babysitters Club. The I Survive, I have books for boys also. The Homework Machine, I'm inviting boys to come along, join the book club, and begin to read. We have a short presentation to do for you to show you the importance of reading. At this time, I ask you to give them a round of applause as they come and do their part. This is Joanna Morogo, president of the book club.
I can go twice as high. Take a look.
Good morning. I will read a poem that I picked out and think is really nice, so I hope you guys enjoy it. It is Cindergirl by André Dietrich. An ember sparked will softly glow, and fed by fuel will grow and grow. I once was cinder sparked by you, first timid, till the flames then grew. And so our start was touch of dawn, with amber hue, for I was drawn to eyes so welcoming and warm, I never guessed you'd do me harm. Like morning glory, love in June, the rapture of mid-afternoon, romance of which the ancients wrote, our passions had no antidote. And with the dusk, though scarlet tinged, our love began to become unhinged. For clouds arrived which filled our eyes, extinguishing bright twilight skies. With cold of night came shadows pale, and I could not tear down your wall. By midnight's hour the fire was dead, my ashes smoldered in its stead. You left and you should repair, you vowed to shun, now I fare. The very thing which I yearn, one touch, and then again to burn. Thank you.
There you have it. You don't only have to read books. You can also read poems. But whatever you read, I'm sure you will enjoy it. So for this week, you are going to do what? Read. What are you going to do? Read. Have a good day, everyone.
All right, Spanish Club.
Butterfly in the
Let's have our presentation by
sky.
the Spanish
I can go
department.
twice as high.
Give them a hand as they come.
Guantanamera, Guajira, Guantanamera, Guantanamera, Guajira, Guantanamera, Guantanamera, Guajira, Guantanamera, 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 Guajira, Guantanamera, Guantanamera, Guajira, Guantanamera, Guajira, Guantanamera, Guantanamera, Guajira.
We're going to bring on, I need you silent now, because I'm going to bring on the founder of Reading is Fun Week, and she's headed up the reading programs in our territory, several of them throughout many years. Mrs. H. Lyndon Smith. Mrs. H. Lyndon Smith, known as Teacher Lyndon, has dedicated her life to educating people of the Virgin Islands and beyond. Teacher Lyndon is a product of the East End Methodist School and attained the highest possible level at that time, the Standard 7 certificate, and was named top student in the examinations for the entire then called colony in 1954. Because she had not been allowed to attend the high school in Roe Town, and the fact that she was too young to leave school, she actually successfully sat the examination 3 times until she reached the school leaving age of 15. In 1956, she was appointed a first-year pupil teacher at the school and taught a class of infants during the school day. You guys listening? After school, she studied for examinations under the tutelage of the Dr. W. Whitley every day. On successfully completing her first, second, and third years, pupil teacher study courses and examinations, she was promoted to assistant teacher. 26 years later, she was appointed principal at Willard Whitley Primary School, formerly East End School, which had in fact begun as the East End Methodist School, her alma mater, which means the school that she went to and graduated from. Later, her educational studies took her to Newcastle University, Newcastle upon Tyne, England, 1968 to 1969, where she attained an associateship in education, emphasis on infant teaching and reading. 10 years later, 1978 to 1979, she completed studies at the Cambridge Institute of Education, Cambridge, England, where she attained the Advanced Diploma in Educational Studies with an emphasis on curriculum studies and action research. I'm going to pause here to explain something to those of you who don't understand why we do these programs. It is always important to honor people that have gone before us, to respect their efforts, and to bless God for them. Never get bored of listening to when biographies and other information about presenters are being read. Learn something and understand that they did not get where they are today without hard work. In 1983, she commenced studies at Inter-American University in Puerto Rico, where she was featured in the 1983-1984 National Dean's List. That's awesome. She graduated in 1986, summa cum laude, with a bachelor's degree in elementary education. The background on Reading is Fun Week and the BVIRC. She's a teacher and subsequently a principal, and experienced the difficulty teachers encounter with teaching students to read. Who thinks it's tough to read? Who thinks it's easy to read? Who reads all the time? What do you read? Don't tell me. She saw the students only read during the reading period, and that some found it frightening, while others who had a lack of suitable reading material were not motivated or stimulated and were not sustained in their area of interest. And that was a problem. Almost finished. Many efforts for improvement were made by individual schools, but they were mostly ineffective, sad to say. But listen to what Miss Lyndon Smith did. In 1982, another attempt was made. Mrs. Smith appealed to the Rotary Club of Tortola for assistance. Present at the luncheon was a visiting Rotarian from Kentucky, USA. He appealed to his Rotary Club, and a relationship was forged between Tortola and the Intentional Book Club. As a result of their combined efforts, the East End Long Look School and Community Library was born. This was a great improvement, but it was not impacting enough persons, especially not enough students. A program was needed from which everyone could benefit. When Mrs. Smith was appointed as an education officer, another promotion, she was given the opportunity to serve the entire school population of the Virgin Islands. As a result, two notable professional and personal contributions to this territory were birthed. Reading is Fun Week and the British Virgin Islands Reading Council. Let's give her a hand for starting those two very important programs. Mrs. Smith requested emphatically that a special period be set aside for reading. She wanted the importance of reading emphasized to see students eager to read instead of having to be forced to read. And lastly, her request was granted. Her dream became a reality in March 1992, when the first Reading is Fun Week was observed under the theme Fathers of Reading. Because these observers came very close to Education Week, the decision was made to change it to a new date, which is the second week in October. Reading is Fun Week. Aims were to foster the love of reading so that everyone would love to read. Let me tell you something. I have come upon too many people, adults, who are asking me to teach them how to read. This is because they had many responsibilities in their younger years, and oftentimes were not able to continue to go to school day after day. But you who hear my voice, you all have the opportunity to attend school day after day and read and read and read. It is only through reading that you learn and you're able to develop and grow. I want you to give our ESHS welcome. Wait. And then right after you welcome her, I want you immediately silent. She's a woman to be respected. She has worked hard for this territory, and you need to listen to her when she speaks. Introducing, as we honor her this year under Reading is Fun Week, the theme, the Literacy Network. Reading, writing, and speaking. Let's give Mrs. Linda Smith a wonderful ESHS welcome. Come on, come on. Come on, don't stop. And as soon as you stop, silence.
You have heard a lot this morning, and I know that it is very hot and it is difficult to sit quiet and listen to me. So I'm going to make what I have to say short and hope that one day I can share it with you in a different format. I thank all of you for being here. I thank the school and the staff for asking me to be here. It's a pleasure, and reading has always been my passion, and I think as long as I live, it will be my passion, and maybe when I die, I will die with a book in my hand. Wouldn't that be good? I go to heaven reading. That would be great. Let me tell you a little bit about me that they didn't know. I am the first of 10 children, 5 girls and 5 boys. And my parents were the late Alvan Lee and Alice Fred. I grew up in a home with 11 children. I can't count, right? I'm the first of 10, and I grew up in a home with 11, 4 sisters, 5 brothers, and me. That's funny. You see, before my mother even married, she was presented with a little baby whose mother died in childbirth. But just before her daughter was born, and she had the opportunity to give that child to my mother and asked her to take care of her. That baby was my older sister, because when my father and my mother got married, they took Naomi, which was her name, and that young lady grew up in the same house with me, and she was related to somebody that is right here with you this morning, and in fact is a member of your staff, your teaching staff. My sister, Naomi Foy Fret, was the grandmother of your teacher, Miss Marsha Fret. Marsha didn't know that for a very long time. We grew up in a house totally surrounded by books. We were poor and we didn't have money to buy books, but my father was an avid reader. He read to us regularly. My mother taught us to read. Our father taught us to love to read. And we got those books. I don't know if you know about a word that we call poop, but we used to get poop books. They were hand-me-downs. And they came from a gentleman who owned Guana Island. He discovered that my father loved reading, and he started giving him all his books, magazines, and reading materials. And we grew up surrounded by those. We were poor, but believe you me, we were the richest family in East End. Everything else was told you just now, so I'll not go through that. You know how Reading is Fun started, and we are happy today. I am happy today that Reading is Fun Week has come of age. In my day, young people could not be married unless if they were underage. They had to have written consent from their parents. Today, Reading is Fun Week is 21 years old, and we don't have to have anybody sign for her to get married. So join me and celebrate happy birthday to Reading is Fun Week. Thank you. I have had a long life of reading and teaching, and I've totally enjoyed every bit of it. Along the way, I've had many persons who assisted, but I feel strongly that it was God and my parents who set me on this path. And I will stay here until it suits God to do otherwise. Along the way, I have been totally supported, encouraged, loved, assisted in every way by a special young man who I don't see around, and he should be here. That is my husband of 53 years, Mr. Harold Smith of East End. He must be, and I have classed him with the man in the Bible, Job. Because if he didn't have faith like Job, he could not have lasted 53 years of me doing this. Harold Smith, are you around? I don't see the man. But I have my sons, Neville. Everybody knows Neville. Don't call him Ship. and Lester. And my oldest son resides in the United States of America. They, with their families, my siblings, especially my sister Claudia, whom some of you knew as Teacher Claudia, they have been the backbone for my work all the time. Now, like I promised, I will not keep you long. I will not try to bore you. I know you said reading is boring, and when I did this, started this, that was part of the reason, because as a teacher, I honestly knew that some children found reading a boring activity. And my aim was to do something that would change that. I am not sure that it happened. I only know that 21 years have passed. Beginning today, I would love to invite you, to encourage you to start. If you don't read, start. If you were reading, never stop. Reading can take you many places. When I went to England in 1968, I knew so much about where I was going because I had read all about it. So, it opens many doors for you. You try to open those doors. Don't waste the time. Do the best you can. Children who read actually do better in school and in life. So read, read, read. Before I cut short what I planned, I want to express sincere thanks to you. But first, Reading is Fun Week started in 1992. It happened so that Reading is Fun Week was not only for schools, it encompassed the entire communities. And in 1997, a special day was set aside during the week in which the radio station opened the waves so that everybody could call in and read something that they like. I want to ask a special favor of the teachers and the students of ESHS. The Wednesday of Reading is Fun Week was named Read BVI Read Day. That started on the 15th of October 1997. Over the years, it has gotten a little less important. I want to ask you today, teachers, kindly grant me the favor of encouraging your students to make use of this BVI Read Day, Wednesday. Encourage them to read a book, or if they have a favorite book, to use it. Call the radio stations. I know you can call ZBVI, and I'm going to ask that all radio stations make this available. Ask them to read the book, call the radio station, and share your book with the whole British Virgin Islands. That's what I would like you to do. And one little caution, every teacher should consider himself or herself a teacher of reading. So, you encourage and teach. And you students, call in. I'm going to be listening. And you'll make me feel good. You'll make today special to me if I can prove that you have done something like that. All right? Will you do that for me? And make my day very special. Let me know that planning and starting Reading is Fun Week was of great importance and that you can benefit from it. Thank you for listening.
Good morning. On behalf of El Mostar High School family, we would like to present Mrs. Smith with a small token to tell her thanks for all the hard work that she has done with Reading is Fun Week. This plaque reads, awarded to Mrs. H. Lynette Smith for her invaluable contributions to literacy and the promotion of reading in the British Virgin Islands. Reading is Fun Week 2013. Mrs. Smith, we love you. Thanks so much for all that you have
Because this is a special moment, can her children come? Those who did take a picture with her, they can keep this in their heirloom for, come on up children. Whoever's here with mommy, get a nice picture to put in the family album, special time. Wow, isn't that nice? There are too many persons for her to thank. So she wants to thank the entire country, all those who have assisted her throughout the years. So let's give her a round of applause. And the music department, thank you for celebrating. We're going to call on Mrs. Allison Flax Archer. Come on up. The vote of thanks.
Elmore Stout High School, good morning. I think Mrs. Smith sat too soon, so Mrs. Smith, can you come back up, please? Closer to me, closer. It gives me great pleasure this morning, on behalf of the BVI National Commission for UNESCO, to present a stalwart of our educational system and the founder of the Reading Council a very, very, very small token of our appreciation. There's a little history. The Reading Council is housed at the BVI National Commission Secretariat. So every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we are delighted to see Mrs. Smith in the office. So Mrs. Smith, you are one of us, and we thank you, and we hope that you enjoy the fruit with your husband of 53 years.
morning is a very special morning for us as we have just witnessed the opening of Reading is Fun Week. There are a few persons that we'd like to say a special thank you to, and those persons are Honorable Myron Walwin, Mr. Wade Tobin, Mrs. Donna Klein Thomas, Mrs. Allison Flax Archer of UNESCO, Ms. Colleen Penn of GIS, Ms. Dorothy Rapsat. We have the Art Department, English Department, Ms. Marsha Fred, ZBVI Radio Station, Beacon Newspaper, Island Sun Newspaper, the students of Elmore South High School, the Castro Marking Product, Elmore South Star Chasers Book Club, and we want to say a very special thank you to the ESHS Spanish Department and the Music Department, as well as Jafix JTV. I want to say thank you for your patience, and I just want to encourage you to spend some time this week reading, reading, reading. Thank you.